the past continuous, the past perfect continuous, and the past perfect simple. Very, very exciting to be putting
って言うてるものな。
そうです。すぐにダミ警察のあったみたい。ってと言われていて、私はネットにもはい、そうです。本当ですか？はい、すぐに。警察のご厄介にみたい。見ないでと言われていて、私はネットにも疎く、番組は見ないでと言われたことになっていたなんて、どうして話し見ないでと言われみたい。娘から番組は見ないでと言われていて、私はネットにも疎く、こんなことになっていたなんて、どうしてって話してくれなかったの？なんで苦もしてたけど、呼ばれた時はいろいろしいわよ。他人に興味なさ、呼ばれた時はいろいろ覚悟してたけど、
なんじゃない。人は簡単に死ぬ。誰かが悲鳴をすぐ動かなきゃ手遅れになる。根に後で請求する。
ケチね。
タクシー代は茜に後で請求する。
ケチね。
人は
他人に興味なさそうにしてちゃんと見てたのね。
別に誰なんじゃないかが黒川青年者はでも契約いるって選択肢もあるってことだ。でも契約とか、これは番組側が未成年者を扱う上での監督責任を問われる問題だ。こういう状況になった以上やめるって言われ活動してるんだ。引き時はちゃんと見極めろよ。
頑張ってきた。
だからそう言ってるんだってさ。もう
私たち
ならにも腹が立ってしょうがないんだよ。好きかな。煽った番組サイドも好きかっていうネットの報道機関の記者が24時間最新情報を受け取るために待機していて、今かと新ネタを待ち望んでいる。
やったわね、あんた。褒めた私がバカだったわ。着地点は見えてるんでしょうね。
ああ、本当のリアリティ界隈では
気の目聞くし、
ギャンブルかそこ立て、どんな成人も一面にしたら面白いっていう意図が存在する。 どんな成人も演出っていうもの。俺には映像。
つまりやって誰かクタンは自分で考えたの？
自分だけど。
って誰かの入れ知恵？自分で点振って表面かよめれば胸数稼
ぐらい。じゃあレーベル、俺楽曲提供するよ作ってるプロなんだけど。いや俺レーベル所属の音楽で飯食ってるプロなんだけど、自分のバンドで作詞作曲してるし、よそに提供してたりすんだけど。
でも
なんかエモい感じでな。
あのシーンは欲しくない？
どのシーン？
ほら、茜が私で
もあそこカメラ。
私が優しく抱きしめるとこ。
でもあそこカメラ止まってて
甘いと思う？プロモデルの私が定点カメラの位置を気にしてないと思う？一応
台無しなんだけど、
カメラに気持ちよく映るポジでやってたんだよ。
いろいろ台無しなんだけど。
絶対スタッフはずるいよね。
いやまあ、あるにはあるけどね。映像データは持ち出し厳禁。さすがに渡せないぞ。
そうですね。表に出れば出演者たちを悪役に仕立て上げる演出をしたって白状するようなものですから。これだけ買いかねないですもんね。
理解が早くてみんなリアリティのあるいざこざが楽しんでいない。それは茜の選択で。なら NG を出せばこちらプロで僕らも仕事でやっている。そこだけど。
D は今いくつですか
？35だけど。
茜は17だ。プロだろうとなんだろうと茜は17だ。この大人がガキ守る。
言えてるな。
ここでも
ほら監督、ほら監督、エンコード終わったよ。投稿しちゃうから。
くそ
どんぐらい
スペックのマシン使ってるな。
投稿しちゃうから。ほら監督、エンコード終わったよ。投稿しちゃうから。
くそ
どんぐらいの難しいよ。気合い入れてつって100リツイートくらいいけばなかったりするからね。最初の一けど
100な。
まあやるだくせに。
くせに
リーダー面がひどいね。悪かってひどいね。
オーダウンと行こ
もうけど
100な。
う。まあやるだけやったんだ。さあショーダウンと行こうぜ。
お前が一番何もやってねえくせに。
リーダー面がひどいね。あれ一生お金は私のこと撮影はあるのに大事。
4スチにそういう炎上のは炎上に完全な解決はないからだ。歯切れの悪い言い方になるのは俺
僕から方がいいの
ことある。
ねえ、もう少し奥底見せてだし近取り
で俺に
アクタンはどういう女が好み？
なんで俺に。
今男君だけだから理想な。
顔のいい女。
うわ最悪。ルッキズムの権化出たな。
太陽みたいな笑顔、完璧なパフォーマンス、まるで無敵に思える剣道、吸い寄せられる天性の瞳。
難しいこと言うな。 抽象的です。町の愛みたいな。愛ってでもあれかな、ビーコ町の愛みたいな。愛って昔。
大体合ってる。
ああ、こうそう違う。
いやまあ大体合ってる。
ああ、こういう系好きなんだ。面食いだ。いるね。アクアくん。アクアをの女の子やってみるね。
愛の真似なんて誰にもできない。あれは天性のものだ。
嵐の自宅ビーコまされてる友人のだとしたら承認欲求は満たされてる。友人関係は薄そう。でも異性関係は何かあるだろうな。家庭環境はいい。いや、この人格形成は劣悪な方向かな。愛情の抱き方に何かしらのバイアスあり。秘密主義、金銭感覚が節制傾向。ファッションはやや無関心。視力はいい。聴覚と嗅覚が過敏。歩き方が大股。教育レベルは低め。箸の持ち方が少しいびつ。発達障害の傾向。15歳あたりから破滅的行動にいい出会いがあったの。大の子教育関心頓着さと過度な執着。金銭感覚が節制傾向。ファッションはやや無関心。視力はいい。聴覚と嗅覚が過敏。歩き方がまた今日は無関心。視力はいい。聴覚と嗅覚が過敏。歩き方が大股。教育レベルは低め。箸の持ち方が少しいびつ。発達障害の傾向。思春期の段階で性交渉があった子特有のバランスの悪さ。思春期の段階で5歳あたりから破滅的。いい出会いがあったのかな。
ああおば骨に
申し訳よろしくお願いしますでした。皆さん
行くぞ。
それではグアほっ過ぎてさあ。そうだねアクア。眠いんだよね。収録早すぎてさ。あ、もうカメラ回ってる？
ラストチャンスに植えたつ
そう早くあかねほんと幽霊
あかね
天才と呼ぶしかみたいだけど役者と
あかね
どうしたのあかね幽霊とか見たような顔して。
いや
ああ元気そうだよ。けどもう大丈夫なのか。
何が
何がってそりゃ。
あれくらいよく気はこういう私。あかねなんか雰囲気今日は一緒にいようよ。こういう私嫌い？
そうなカリスマ性向けざるを得ない
が作ってアクタンもアカネがなんか変。ありがとうアクア。で嬉しかったな。なんか変なのはもう分かったけどアクタンもなんか変じゃない？確か
考え事してる。自分でとって
ねえアクタンそれそこのポーチ取って。
今考え事してる。自分で取って。
それくらい
はい。
取ってあげなよ。あかねにだ。
はい。
ほら
自分で取って。
そこのポーチ取って。
今考え事してる。自分で取って。
それくらいいいじゃん。取ってあげなよ。
うん。はい。
わか好きなねきっかすなお。マジでアクタン。
そんなんじゃね
ほら
え。だからマジでやめろ。
イヤハンのガチじゃん。これガチでガチのやつあるよ。どうする。ガチじゃん。
マジでやめろ。
イヤハンのガチじゃん。これがどうしたらいいの。ガチできたらガチで返すの。マジである。あ、面白くない。マジ面白くない。あ、見わせが
幼年期。幼年期、愛と数年一緒にいたが、俺は愛のことを分かってやれん。どこまでが嘘で、どこからがファン、母親、それとも
復帰して声立つ。もうすぐアクアくんめっ最後キス。
今かな。なあ、今から学校サボって遊び行かね。有馬かな。なあ、今から学校サボって遊び行かね。
マジや行くか。マジ不良じゃん。ありえない。そうはマジ最悪。マジ最悪。
そんなに言うならやめとく。
ちゃん私
学校サボってそんな張り切った提案する度胸が。
でしょかなって。裏はやっぱだという牢獄からやったことごめんじゃなくて、
妹に学校サボらせる兄がいるか。
シスコンキモ。じゃあ今勝ちの人とか。
仕事っていうか、そういうさん来やすい関係でもないし、
そうな
さんもなく無駄な会話できる人間って俺の周りにはあまりいない。
ああくれたって人いい意味。もうタイプとか
つくづつに大きく影響がしいし、精神どんどんと体と環境に適合していくなっていく。
かった。前からしてさ、中二病そういうの。
要は俺もして認識。
上好きってこと。へえ
早く投げろ。なんだよ。
なん
程度上の方がいいのは間違いないけどな。
年上好きってこと。へえってこと。へえ
早く投げろ。早く投げろ。やっぱり
として子宮
黒川茜に対する感情は、黒川茜に星
もう終わりだね。人
演技、いや役作りか。まるで夢を
いや
本物を見てるみたいだった。あれって
プロファイリングの本とか読んだりはしてるんだけどね。いっぱいやってるし、愛には実は隠し子がいるって。例えばだとしたら、いろんな子は実は隠し子がいるとか。だとしたの理由がわかる。何をか、
愛の思考パターン。
どういう生き方をしてきて、どういう子が好きかまで多分だいたいわかると思うけど。
今回にはお塊だ。これっぽ俺より番組が終わったらここで手放す。黒川茜は俺たちはあくまで仕事にトレースしている。一緒にいた番組が終わったら関わることはなくなるだろう。 だけど黒川茜は使える。ここで手放すわけにはいかない。
死んじゃえばマジっす
全
けど本当に早速聞いていいかな。最後本当にあれだったっけ。
いえ
仕事もあるのに
彼氏の
私そん来てどの話
恋愛って最近
でいいよ
は割合低いみ
あんないでしょ。
まあ
スキャ
うまい具合に。
なくていいよね。でも
そうそう、うまい具合に番組を使ってほしいよ。こっからは番組側は関与しない。付き合おうが別れようが当人同士の自由。そのまま付き合って結婚ま数ヶ月ほどで考えて自分で決めるんだ。この業界、君たちの才能を利用するだけ利用して捨てる悪いに流されやすい子が行き着く先は決まって奈落だ。からのアドバイス言ったっていう。そういえば悪い子供はどこ行った。
身を使っ今勝ち評判なかったかな。
どうでしょ
やっぱり君を使った俺の目は間違ってなかったかな。
どうでしょうね。結局炎上で
そうしよう。少し前ってのは業界の鉄の収録時の素材を外に流さないってのは業界で、これは一体どうなんだったんだ。
でも出演者アクションにはちゃんと
してくれ。とっておきの話をしてあげよう。行かないか。
これから
あれは放送されたわけだからしばらくったら。
だからね変な気。それとも本気のやつ。
いや別
仕事
ほど
それ
しては見ていない。これは茜に
まあ
保有としてつい
ね、付き合いに来るだねで、
じゃあ世代
アイドルしちゃって違う。
あれあれしあれの生きたが
に出た
せず自分
あっさば
ルビーは見たらお払い
ちょっとじゃなさそ
だ言われ話は聞かせてもらったわ。
おりも
私も年齢でうだうだ言われた側だからちょっとだけ気持ちわかる。
ちょっとじゃなさそうだが
子役の事務所も高学年になったらお払い箱でさダメだな
とムカつく都もちろん小金は止められないこそ
今またルビー
かはあかん言われんか
どうつくルビーも今
てるんだ
イケメンシメン美少女だらけでほんと目の保有顔がいい人は分視力 0.5 くらい良くなったと思う。
言うことおもろ
私が個人的
知らん広いじゃ
何か気に
普通科の方ではかなりモテてるみたいやよ。
芸能界でも何人か気になってる人もいるみたい。まあ表向きは彼女持ちだし当面はみんな生還するだろうけど。
ある大きな番対今勝ちの注目度はかなり高くメムチョになった。私たちのチャンネルはすごくそれっぽい動画を作れるようになった。によって私たちのチャンネルは
くらい1万人。まあ私のチャンネルのこうしけどのよいい子町の曲がある。そうという今アラサーだアイドルのから自虐部分曲
お疲れお疲れ
ありがいらない
ずっとそんな感じ。俺に対して遮ってるけどだな。有馬が口も態度も悪いのは分かって俺も傷つく。
何よ何悪はそっちが先にそっちが悪
掘り起こすような話。君はどうしてそんなに
用もないほどに。それ以外にファンなんです。
ファン目線の幻想な例外は一つ。魅力的なカリスマを入るために
としても
愛君とその頃の彼女は田舎から出てきたばかりの芋娘でね。プロ意識も低いし、周囲と馴染もうとせず、安いだけで似合いもしない服を着て現場に来るような子供だった。で、した
ワークショップ。
僕が大学の頃入って彼君が所属している劇団だね。は人を当時はそんなに有名でもなかったのだけど、恋は人を変えるとしたのはワークショップに恋をした。彼女は身なりにも気をつけ、さすがに相手が立っているよ。ないけれど一気にララライの主催だろう。
ない役者。
この業界は事務所、そして満程度のステッカージャパンだと思っているよ。
まさか
ジャパンアイドルフェス。今勝ちで押ってな。確実にだ。もう仕事いいつだ別点数で私は仕事食べてきた人って嘘。どういう奥さんアイドルはしよう愛のうまい光に。
all of that grammar into practice in a speaking lesson. Now, one more thing before we get started. If you are not a subscriber yet, make sure you hit that button down there, turn on notifications so that you never miss one of the English lessons. All right, time to dive in. So if you're new to English, you may not have practiced with one of my imitation lessons before. It's really simple. I'm going to help you practice out loud with me all the way through this lesson. And if you like it, there are several other imitation lessons on my channel, and I've also got some imitation courses available on the English website. You can get to it up here, or the link is down in the description below. Today, we're going to practice storytelling in English, an exceptionally important skill to have. I'm going to be sharing a simple story about a coincidence at the supermarket. A coincidence that turned into a disaster. Not an awful disaster, just a funny disaster, a mess. Keep in mind that you can easily exchange my story with your own. Once you practice along with me for a little while, that's what I really want you to do, is take the story that I'm using and adapt it, make it your own. An unusual trip to the supermarket. Step 1, listen and read. On Monday, I was doing my weekly shopping when I bumped into an old friend of mine. We hadn't seen each other for more than 10 years, so it was a real surprise to see her in my local supermarket. We stopped in the middle of the aisle, mouths open, then hugged and chatted for what felt like ages. It turns out she'd been living overseas, in Istanbul, and had only just moved back home. That's why we hadn't seen each other for so long. While we were talking, another friend wandered up the aisle. It was one of our old classmates from high school. What a coincidence! And it turns out he'd recently become a dad. He had his new baby girl tucked up in the pram. He admitted to us he was just trying to get out of the house for a while. So we decided to go to the cafe next door. We couldn't miss this chance to catch up after all of these years. But it turned out to be a disaster. We ordered cake, but it tasted terrible. We ordered coffee, but it never came. When one of the waitresses was rushing to open the door for a customer, she knocked over a huge vase of flowers, which, you guessed it, smashed onto our table and soaked us with water. Fortunately, we were having so much fun reminiscing about old school days that it didn't really bother us too much. Step 2, listen and copy me. Now you need to imitate exactly what I say. So that means you're trying to copy my pronunciation, the word stress, the pause in every sentence. You can even try and imitate my facial expressions to practice communicating with more than just words in English. Now there's going to be a pause after each sentence or clause so that you can practice out loud with me, okay? Just try relax and go with the flow, all right? It's just you and it's me. We're here right now. We're doing some speaking practice together. We're gonna have some fun. On Monday, I was doing my weekly shopping. When I bumped into an old friend of mine. We hadn't seen each other for more than 10 years. So it was a real surprise to see her in my local supermarket. We stopped in the middle of the aisle, mouths open. Then hugged and chatted for what felt like ages. It turns out she'd been living overseas, in Istanbul. And had only just moved back home. That's why we hadn't seen each other for so long. While we were talking, another friend wandered up the aisle. It was one of our old classmates from high school. What a coincidence! And it turns out he'd recently become a dad. He had his new baby girl tucked up in the pram. He admitted to us he was just trying to get out of the house for a while. So we decided to go to the cafe next door. We couldn't miss this chance to catch up after all of these years. But it turned out to be a disaster. We ordered cake, but it tasted terrible. We ordered coffee, but it never came. When one of the waitresses was rushing to open the door for a customer, she knocked over a huge vase of flowers, which you guessed it, smashed onto our table. And soaked us with water. Fortunately, we were having so much fun reminiscing about old school days that it didn't really bother us too much. Step 3, shadow me. So now we're moving on to step 3, which is a little more challenging than the last one. So don't forget that you can pause here. You can go back and practice section 2 as many times as you need to before we keep going. It's going to take a little bit of practice and some time for you to get comfortable and relaxed. So you're going to shadow me, and that means that you're listening to me and speaking at exactly the same time. And the reason why we're doing this is because I want you to copy the rhythm and the tone that I'm using, the pattern and the sounds that are coming out of my mouth. So even if you get tongue-tied and you get stuck trying to make the words come out as quickly as I am saying them, don't worry about it. Focus on following the rhythm. Da 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 da. Follow that rhythm. On Monday, I was doing my weekly shopping when I bumped into an old friend of mine. We hadn't seen each other for more than 10 years. So it was a real surprise to see her in my local supermarket. We stopped in the middle of the aisle, mouths open, then hugged and chatted for what felt like ages. It turns out she'd been living overseas in Istanbul and had only just moved back home. That's why we hadn't seen each other for so long. While we were talking, another friend wandered up the aisle. It was one of our old classmates from high school. What a coincidence! And it turns out he'd recently become a dad. He had his new baby girl tucked up in the pram. He admitted to us he was just trying to get out of the house for a while. So we decided to go to the cafe next door. We couldn't miss this chance to catch up after all of these years. But it turned out to be a disaster. We ordered cake, but it tasted terrible. We ordered coffee, but it never came. When one of the waitresses was rushing to open the door for a customer, she knocked over a huge vase of flowers, which, you guessed it, smashed onto our table and soaked us with water. Fortunately, we were having so much fun reminiscing about old school days that it didn't really bother us too much. So you made it all the way through. Well done. I know that it's a little bit of a mouthful trying to get all of those auxiliary verbs out, right? Trying to get it all sounding natural, using those contractions and the linking between words. But now that you're feeling a little more comfortable with my story, why don't you try adapting your own story? You know, have you had any funny coincidences happen to you lately? Run into someone that you haven't seen in a long time? If you have, then share that story down in the comments. See if you can practice using some of the same tenses that we shared in this lesson together. I'll be down to check them out as soon as I can. I'm looking forward to jumping down and reading some of your stories soon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye for now. Well, hey there, I'm Emma from English. In this pronunciation lesson today, I'm going to teach you how to pronounce I've, where, it's, didn't, and many more of the most common contractions in spoken English. And at the end, you and I are going to practice speaking together. We'll practice using these contractions in a short dialogue, back and forth in a regular conversation together. If you want to jump past the pronunciation work and you want to practice speaking fluently with me in this dialogue, you can jump over to that timestamp there. But I recommend that you spend some time with me now, warming up your mouth muscles and practicing with me first. If your goal is to sound relaxed and natural when you speak English, you have got to practice with me in this lesson. Are you ready? So what is a contraction? A shortened form of a word where there are fewer sounds spoken. For example, the word have can be heard in an English sentence just as v. And most English contractions involve auxiliary or modal verbs, and these are often unstressed parts of a sentence. So the sounds change and they reduce, they become lower in pitch, harder to hear. You'll hear contractions used by native English speakers all the time when they speak. Or maybe you won't, because they're actually harder to hear and a little harder to process. But you can also see them when they're written in informal English, and you can usually recognize them because they have that little apostrophe. Which one of these contractions is hardest for you to pronounce? Or is there another that you find really difficult? Let me know down in the comments. So in this lesson, we're going to go through all of the contractions that are made by auxiliary verbs: do, have, and be. And there are plenty of them. Let's start with do, the auxiliary verb in the simple tense. But you'll only hear it spoken as a contraction when it's used in its negative form. Do not. Which is don't. Don't. Now, there are two things that I want you to notice here. One is that vowel sound changes. O, don't, is different to oo, do. Do, don't. The second is that stop T, which is really, really common. Instead of hearing that T sound fully aspirated with that release of air to make the sound, the stop T stops it short before the air is released. It's like you catch the sound. Listen to the difference. Don't, I'm releasing the air. Don't. or don't. Don't. Sometimes my students say to me, but Emma, I can't hear that T. It's not there. Well, that's not true, because without that stopped T sound, that nasally sound continues for longer. Don't. Compare that to don't. Don't. So that sound is stopped short. That's your stopped T sound. I probably could keep talking about that for a while, but it's really, really common to hear that stopped T in negative contractions and in many other everyday English words that end in a T sound. Practice it with me. Don't. Don't. I don't want to go. What about does not? It is way more common to hear native English speakers say doesn't, doesn't, doesn't. And again, you can hear that stopped T sound, right? You've also got two syllables there. One of them is stronger than the other. Can you hear it? Doesn't, doesn't, doesn't. That first syllable. We've got a few tricky consonant sounds there at the end. So, you know, if you're feeling a little bit stuck here, a little bit tongue-tied, why don't you just pause for a minute and just focus on the end of that word. Zn. Zn. I mean, really, this word is often spoken so quickly that it sounds like doesn't, doesn't. So really just loosen up the muscles in your mouth. Don't get stuck trying to be really precise. Doesn't, 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 doesn't. He doesn't play football. It doesn't matter. And then we have our past tense form, did not, which is didn't. You're right, didn't. That first D is stronger than the second one. Didn't, 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 didn't. There's that cluster again. Again, I'm using that stop T sound because that's the most comfortable for me. You can choose whether you want to use the aspirated T at the end or not. In my accent, it's very, very common to hear the stop T. Are you ready to practice with me? I don't like it. We don't eat meat. They don't bother me. She doesn't want to. It doesn't matter. You didn't call. He didn't believe me. Okay, now let's look at the verb be. So in the present tense, it conjugates to am, is, and are. Be is a little different because it can be contracted when it's a main verb as well as when it's an auxiliary verb. Here's the paper. He's coming. So here, the be verb is the main verb in our sentence. And here, it's the auxiliary verb. It's making the continuous tense. There are many B contractions to get through, so I want to go through them one by one. Practice out loud with me. I'm. Your. Remember, the pronunciation is exactly the same as this word here. Your. And in my accent, you don't really hear that sound at the end. It's just the vowel, or. Where. And again, the pronunciation of this contraction is just the same as that word. There. Again, exactly the same as these two. He's. She's. It's. It's has a tricky consonant cluster. T, s, ts, ts. It's. Practice these sentences after me. I'm hungry. You're coming too. She's gonna win. It's about to rain. Okay, let's take a look at the negative forms now. With negative contractions, with be verb, we have two choices. We have two different ways that we can pronounce these contractions. You can make the contraction by linking the be verb to the subject, or by linking the be verb to not. Let's take a look. You are not can be you're not or you aren't. Ooh, that's a new sound there. Aren't. Can you hear that t at the end? Aren't. We're not. We aren't. We aren't. They're not. They aren't. They aren't. All right, let's take a look at is. He's not. He isn't. That's another new sound. We have isn't. Isn't. I know there are a few tricky consonant clusters there, aren't there? Isn't. Isn't. Znt. 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 Practice, practice, practice. Isn't. She's not. She isn't. It's not. It isn't. Now, because that T sound comes between two vowels, it actually sounds a lot more like a D in my accent. Can you hear it? It isn't. It isn't. If I slow it down, it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. So to make that the sound, I'm just flicking my tongue ever so quickly up behind my teeth on the gums. It isn't. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. It isn't. It isn't. It isn't. And lastly, we have the negative contraction with am. I am not becomes I'm not. And I amn't. There is only one way to pronounce this contraction. I'm not. I amn't doesn't exist. In some dialects, you will hear I ain't.
Everything you think you know about famous quotes, it ain't so.
It is really important to know that ain't exists in English, and it's going to help you with your listening comprehension when you're watching movies or you're hearing different accents or different dialects. So even if you don't use it yourself, it's good to know it. Okay, let's practice be verb contractions. You after me. You aren't coming, are you? She isn't gonna lose. They aren't leaving yet. And of course, we have the be verb in the past tense, right? Was not becomes wasn't. Wasn't. And this is often unstressed in our sentences, so the sound really flattens out and it becomes a lot more like wasn't, wasn't, wasn't. It's a lot like doesn't really. Doesn't, wasn't, wasn't. To clearly pronounce this word, it needs to be wasn't, wasn't, wasn't. To understand native speakers, especially Australians, you'll need to listen out for wasn't, wasn't. I wasn't waiting long. He wasn't there. It wasn't raining yesterday. And of course, then we have were not. Were not becomes weren't. And you'll notice that in my accent, I don't pronounce that sound in the middle there. Weren't, weren't, weren't. And don't be afraid to play around with that stop T either. Weren't, weren't, weren't. You weren't invited. We weren't planning to go. They weren't old enough. Have is our auxiliary verb in the perfect tenses. It's the present perfect, isn't it? We have and has. They really only get contracted when they're used as auxiliary verbs like this. There are a couple of exceptions to that rule. Some dialects, maybe they use the contraction when have is the main verb, but they're the exceptions. It's not really common to hear, I've one of those, or he's 3. In fact, he's 3 has a different meaning entirely. We're using the be verb, aren't we? And we're saying he is 3 years old. So don't contract have or has when it's the main verb in a sentence, but do contract it when it's an auxiliary verb. It's very natural. So you hear have as just v, v. What is really important here is that you have your mouth positioned correctly to make this sound. You need your teeth touching your lower lip. Let's try out these contractions together. I've been waiting. You've had enough. We've seen her. They've eaten it all. A little tip there, when some of these contractions can feel a little bit hard when we're practicing out loud and we're focusing just on the contraction. They've eaten. If you link that v consonant sound to the next word, which is also very, very natural in spoken English, linking those sounds, it's a little easier to pronounce. They've eaten, they've eaten, they've eaten. When you contract has, it sounds like s or z. S and z, they work together. They have the same tongue and mouth position, but one uses air to make the sound. It's unvoiced. S. And the other uses your vocal cords. It's voiced, this sound. Z. Listen out. It's. Now, because t is an unvoiced sound as well, the sound that is unvoiced follows. It's. Now compare that to she's. Now, vowel sounds are all voiced sounds, so the sound that follows is z. She's. Okay, practice with me. Ready? It's been broken. She's been at school. He's asked his mum. Let's look at negative contractions with have now. There are two ways that you can say have not, just like with the be verb. The first way is using the contraction that we just learnt and then adding not. So we have the subject with v not. We've not seen her. They've not asked for it. The same rules apply for has. We have our subject, s or z, with not. It's not been broken. He's not asked his mum. Now, this way of contracting is pretty common in British English, but in Australian and American English, it's much more common to hear the other way of contracting have. Haven't, and hasn't. Now, the pronunciation here is quite simple, really. We just take the verb have, has, and we add nt to the end. Nt, nt. This part. Nt, nt. Like we did all that practice with nt, right? Have, nt. Has, nt. Haven't, hasn't. Try these sentences with me. I haven't been to Africa. She hasn't asked her mum yet. To be honest, it really doesn't matter which type of pronunciation you choose. Either of them is going to help you to sound more natural when you're speaking English. So I want you to compare. We're going to go one and the other. I've not. I haven't. You've not. You haven't. We've not. We haven't. They've not. They haven't. He's not. He hasn't. She's not. She hasn't. It's not. It hasn't. Have and has are in the present tense, but there is only one past tense form, had. So I guess that makes things a little easier, right? No matter what the subject, we're always using had not. So let's try the contraction. Hadn't. 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 All right, follow along after me. I hadn't eaten, so I was hungry. You hadn't bothered to find out. We hadn't brought our pillows. It hadn't rained all day, so why was he so drenched? So we practice the pronunciation of lots of common contractions there. Now let's practice using these contractions a little more naturally by practicing together in a little dialogue. So it's a conversation between two people, you and me. I'm going to start and you'll see your part of the conversation pop up on screen. You get to say it out loud. And once we get through it, we'll swap places and you'll get to practice the lines that I said and vice versa. Are you ready? Aren't you late? But weren't you meant to pick up dinner on the way? Don't worry, Kate's bringing dessert and the Johnsons aren't coming anyway. Why don't you just pick up a pizza on the way? No, I'm not late. What? I didn't know that. I haven't got time to organise dinner. That's right, they're away for the weekend. Good idea. I've got just enough time if I leave now. Well, that's it for this lesson. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to make another lesson like this, all about modal verb contractions or contractions with will. They can be a little tricky as well. There are many contractions to learn, but you don't need to feel intimidated by them. Just show up to practice with me and you'll get familiar with the way that they sound and you'll start to hear them more. You'll recognize them as native speakers are speaking. I hope you have a marvelous week ahead. Thank you for being here with me today. If you enjoyed this lesson, make sure you like the video and you subscribe to English for more English lessons to help you practice and improve your English speaking skills. Speaking of more lessons, I've got a couple for you right here. See you in there. Hey there, I'm Emma from English. Today, you and I are going to do some conversation practice. You're going to speak with me. We're going to practice speaking together using a dialogue, and it's going to be a conversation between two friends who haven't seen each other in a little while. So it's about catching up. This is such a great conversation topic to practice. I feel like it happens so often these days. Inside my English speaking community, I have this conversation all the time with friends that I haven't spoken to in a few weeks or even a few months. It's actually one of those conversations inside that community that sparked the idea for this lesson. But before we get into it, I want to teach you 5 useful English expressions first. And you can listen out for them in the dialogue that we'll practice together. All right? This lesson is going to be short and sweet, so let's dive straight in. Hey ladies, do you want to practice English in real conversations with really lovely speaking partners? Stop watching lessons at home on your own and come join us at Hey Lady. Hey Lady is an online community for women. We'll help you to meet new speaking partners and practice real conversations in English. We offer a free trial so that you can experience everything on offer in a full membership, and it's free for 10 days. I've put the link down in the description below so that you can start your free trial today. There are 5 really common English expressions that I'm going to teach you first before we practice speaking together in our dialogue. And I want you to listen out for them because they're used in context and we're going to talk together using them later on. Are you ready? Long time no see. So this is an informal greeting, one that's used when you haven't seen someone for a long time. It's been a long time since you last met. So you use it when you greet someone. You say their name, you say hello, and then you use this expression. Hi Steve, long time no see. Fancy seeing you here. This is another really useful expression, especially when you're surprised to see someone. But it's a pleasant surprise. Like you've run into them in a place where you didn't expect to see them. Now, it is important to note that this expression can be used with a sarcastic tone, and then it can mean the exact opposite. Listen out, compare. Fancy seeing you here. Fancy seeing you here. So a friendly greeting would signal a genuine expression of surprise when you meet someone. And that sarcastic tone is really to sort of humiliate or mock someone or suggest that you're actually not very excited to see them at all. It's much more common to use it in the positive way, and that is how you'll hear it in today's conversation as well. Listen out for the adjective promising. If someone or something is promising, it seems likely that it will be very good or very successful. And it's often used with some of these verbs like look, seem, sounds, and feel. So a situation feels or seems promising, an idea sounds promising, and the result looks promising. A blessing in disguise. This is a very useful idiom to know. If you say that something is a blessing in disguise, then something that seems bad or unlucky at first actually results in something being good or something good happening later. So it can be a really good one to use when someone shares bad news, like they just lost their job. Well, then you can use this expression to suggest that even though the situation is bad right now, it might become better in the future. What's been happening in your world? So this is just a really informal question to find out the latest news about someone else's life. And it's usually used with someone who is a friend. They're very familiar to you. It's not used in professional contexts at all. Okay, it's time for you to speak with me out loud, okay? We're going to pretend that we are two friends catching up. You'll say one line and then I'll say the next. Just like we would if we were having a real conversation together, you and me. So I'll start and you'll see your part of the conversation appear up on screen. And once we get through it, once we complete the conversation, we'll swap places and we'll practice it through one more time. Make sure you listen out for those 5 natural English expressions during our conversation too. Ready? Lauren? Long time no see. Too long. Do you have a minute to grab a coffee? So what's news? What's been happening? I'm so sorry to hear that. It's been a really tough time, hasn't it? No? This sounds promising. Don't tell me it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Oh, Lauren, that's fantastic news. Incredible. I'm so happy for you. Okay, so now we'll swap. I'll be Lauren and you be me. Emma, fancy seeing you here. It's been such a long time since we last caught up. Sure, I'd love to. Well, actually, the last few months have been pretty tough because I lost my job late last year. Thank you. I was really discouraged for a while. It was hard to be optimistic because there were so many lockdowns and many people lost their jobs. Yeah. But it's not all bad news. Well, after a month of feeling really sorry for myself, I knew I had to change my mindset. I needed to look for the positives. Kind of. I've been training to be a life coach. Thanks. I know what it's like to feel stuck or like important decisions in your life are being made by others. I just want to help people take back control of their life. Anyway, enough about me. What's been happening in your world? Nice work! I hope that you enjoyed practicing with me like this today. If you want to grab the full transcript of this dialogue so that you can practice with your friends at another time, head over to the English website. The link is in the description below. Or if you're inside the Hey Lady community and you're watching this video, the transcript is right below. You can click on it, open it, and get started in your study groups. All right, now I'm gonna let you watch me do the conversation from start to finish. So I'm both Emma and Lauren in this conversation. Lauren? Long time no see. Emma, fancy seeing you here. It's been such a long time since we last caught up. Too long. Do you have a minute to grab a coffee? Sure, I'd love to. So what's news? What's been happening? Well, actually, the last few months have been pretty tough because I lost my job late last year. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you. I was really discouraged for a while. It was hard to be optimistic because there were so many lockdowns and many people lost their jobs. It's been a really tough time, hasn't it? Yeah. But it's not all bad news. No? This sounds promising. Well, after a month of feeling really sorry for myself, I knew I had to change my mindset. I needed to look for the positives. Don't tell me it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Kind of. I've been training to be a life coach. Oh, Lauren, that's fantastic news. Thanks. I know what it's like to feel stuck or like important decisions in your life are being made by others. I just want to help people take back control of their life. Incredible. I'm so happy for you. Anyway, enough about me. What's been happening in your world? Make sure you let me know if you enjoyed speaking with me today. Say hello down in the comments. I love popping down there, reading your comments, catching up with what's happening in your world. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and check out this lesson next. Well, hey there, I'm Emma from English. Right now, I'm here to help you with your pronunciation and your speaking skills. You're going to speak with me. We're going to practice speaking together using a dialogue that I've written. You say one line and then I'll say the next line, just like we would if we were having a real conversation together, you and me. I'm going to start and then you'll see your part pop up on screen that you can read out and say back to me. Once we get through it, we'll swap places and we'll practice it together one more time. This is going to be a short, fast, sweet, speedy little speaking practice activity. Make sure you bookmark it, come back to practice with it regularly if you feel like you need to get your English mouth muscles working. This lesson is going to help. Last week's pronunciation lesson was all about contractions, which are so common in spoken English. This speaking lesson today is going to help you to review and to practice some of those common English contractions, the ones that you'll hear native English speakers using every day. So I'm going to start, and when you see that sentence pop up on screen, read it back to me as if we were having this conversation together. Let's go. Are you ready? So what are your plans over the weekend? My brother's visiting from Melbourne this weekend, so I'm looking for ideas. And you're always doing fun and interesting things. Do you have any suggestions? Ooh, that is a good suggestion. He doesn't eat meat, so that would be perfect. Oh, I don't know if we can. He's only here for the weekend, so we haven't got a lot of time. Okay, I've got a few new ideas now. Thanks for your help. We're supposed to be going hiking, but I think it's supposed to rain. We might need a new plan. What about you? Have you tried the new seafood restaurant on the river? I haven't been there myself, but I've heard so many people saying it's great. If you've got time, you could always catch the ferry out to Rottnest Island for the day. Well, if you don't, you could check out the Maritime Museum. No worries. So what are your plans over the weekend? We're supposed to be going hiking, but I think it's supposed to rain. We might need a new plan. What about you? My brother's visiting from Melbourne this weekend, so I'm looking for ideas. And you're always doing fun and interesting things. Do you have any suggestions? Have you tried the new seafood restaurant on the river? I haven't been there myself, but I've heard so many people saying it's great. Ooh, that is a good suggestion. He doesn't eat meat, so that would be perfect. If you've got time, you could always catch the ferry out to Rottnest Island for the day. Oh, I don't know if we can. He's only here for the weekend, so we haven't got a lot of time. Well, if you don't, you could check out the Maritime Museum. Okay, I've got a few new ideas now. Thanks for your help. No worries. Well, hey there, I'm Emma from English. It's the start of a new year. I've got new hair and I'm really excited about all of the new English lessons that I have in store for you. And what I want most for you this year is that this is the year where you start to feel more confident and more natural when you speak English. Like you can finally be yourself in English. I'll be here all year to help you, and we're kicking off with some speaking practice. So you're going to practice speaking with me right now, out loud, okay? We're going to work on your pronunciation, connected speech, your tone and facial expressions to help you be more expressive in English. We're going to be talking about goals and intentions for the year ahead. And there's lots of useful phrases and expressions. You'll get to hear them being used naturally and in context. By the way, what are your goals or your plans for the year ahead? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to, go and grab the PDF download that I've created for you. It's got the script that we're going to use through this whole lesson so you can practice easily at home. And you'll also have all of the really natural expressions, the phrases that are helpful to talk about this topic. If you're already on the English mailing list, then don't worry, I've already sent this to you. It's in your inbox. Go check it. We are using the imitation technique today, and that's going to help you to develop your speaking and your listening skills. Both of them are really important if you want to speak clearly and be understood. The focus is on natural pronunciation, word stress, connected speech, and tone that's going to help you to be more expressive. If you've done one of my imitation lessons before, you probably already know how this works. It's pretty simple once you know it. So if you've done it before, jump straight ahead to this timestamp and you can start practicing right now. If this is your first time, then I'll explain the 3 simple steps you need to follow really quickly. The first one is you'll just need to listen to me. You can read the words on screen. It's just to get a feel for the story. Step 2 is where things get interesting. You'll listen to the same story again, but there'll be a pause after each clause or sentence, and you'll get to repeat after me. And the last step is where you'll shadow me. You'll be speaking at the same time as me. Now, pronunciation is important here, but it's not the only thing that we're focusing on. I also want you to pay attention to my facial expressions, my body language. All of these things are part of confident and effective communication. All things that you can work on with me through this video to help you feel and to sound more relaxed when you speak. Step 1, just listen first. Throughout my 20s, I regularly made New Year's resolutions. I was obsessed. But I hardly ever kept them for longer than a few weeks. I'd reach the end of January and feel disappointed or annoyed that I'd let my bad habits creep back in. I'd say to myself, wow, you didn't even last a month. And then year after year, I'd get more and more disappointed with myself. And eventually, I just stopped making resolutions. It seemed pointless. But I think that's a shame. I love the optimism and the hope that a new year brings. It's a fresh start, a clean slate. So, I've been listening to podcasts and talking to my friends about their plans and their goals for the year ahead. And I've decided to try a new strategy this year. Instead of setting goals, I'm setting intentions for myself, and there's an important difference between the two. Instead of focusing on the end point, the result, I'm going to focus on the behaviors that I need to adopt to get there. So, for example, one intention I have for myself this year is to take better care of myself, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now, the old me would say, okay, what do I need to do to make this happen? I know. I'll set a goal to meditate for 10 minutes every morning. And I'll always take Sundays off so that I have some time for myself. But these goals really just set me up for failure. If I accidentally sleep in or I skip a morning meditation, I suddenly feel like I've failed. Instead, I can use my intentions to help make good decisions that are going to lead me towards the outcome I want. Like, would someone who's taking care of themselves say yes to a late night meeting just because it was more convenient for the other person in their time zone? Probably not. I'm hoping that being intentional with the decisions that I make can help me to take better care of myself this year. Okay, you've listened to the story now. It's your turn to speak. So you're going to follow along with me. Repeat what I say after me. There's going to be a little pause where you can imitate exactly what I say. When you're listening, pay attention to word stress, to the tone, and to the pronunciation, the way that words link and connect together. Try to practice, try to copy those. Step 2, listen and imitate. Throughout my 20s, I regularly made New Year's resolutions. I was obsessed. But I hardly ever kept them for longer than a few weeks. I'd reach the end of January and feel disappointed. Or annoyed that I'd let my bad habits creep back in. I'd say to myself, wow, you didn't even last a month. And then year after year, I'd get more and more disappointed with myself. And eventually, I just stopped making resolutions. It seemed pointless. But I think that's a shame. I love the optimism and the hope that a new year brings. It's a fresh start, a clean slate. So, I've been listening to podcasts and talking to my friends about their plans and their goals for the year ahead. And I've decided to try a new strategy this year. Instead of setting goals, I'm setting intentions for myself. And there's an important difference between the two. Instead of focusing on the end point, the result, I'm going to focus on the behaviors that I need to adopt to get there. So, for example, one intention I have for myself this year is to take better care of myself. Physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now, the old me would say, okay, what do I need to do to make this happen? I know. I'll set a goal to meditate for 10 minutes every morning. And I'll always take Sundays off so that I have some time for myself. But these goals really just set me up for failure. If I accidentally sleep in or I skip a morning meditation, I suddenly feel like I've failed. Instead, I can use my intentions to help make good decisions that are going to lead me towards the outcome I want. Like, would someone who's taking care of themselves say yes to a late night meeting just because it was more convenient for the other person in their time zone? Probably not. I'm hoping that being intentional with the decisions that I make can help me to take better care of myself this year. Step 3 is a little more challenging, but I think you're ready for it. If you want to, you can head back to step 2 and do it over again if you want. Do it again and again until you feel comfortable. Do it as many times as you like. No one's gonna know. So in step 3, we are shadowing, okay? You're gonna listen, but you're also gonna speak at the same time as me. You may get a little bit tongue-tied. That's okay, don't worry. Shadowing me is the best way to copy the rhythm and the tone that I'm using, which is really, really important in English. Step 3, shadow me. Throughout my 20s, I regularly made New Year's resolutions. I was obsessed. But I hardly ever kept them for longer than a few weeks. I'd reach the end of January and feel disappointed or annoyed that I'd let my bad habits creep back in. I'd say to myself, wow, you didn't even last a month. And then year after year, I'd get more and more disappointed with myself. And eventually, I just stopped making resolutions. It seemed pointless. But I think that's a shame. I love the optimism and the hope that a new year brings. It's a fresh start, a clean slate. So, I've been listening to podcasts and talking to my friends about their plans and their goals for the year ahead. And I've decided to try a new strategy this year. Instead of setting goals, I'm setting intentions for myself. What's the difference between the two? Instead of focusing on the end point, the result, I'm going to focus on the behaviors that I need to adopt to get there. So, for
正手击球等级1到5，等级1，等级2，等级3，等级4，等级5。正手击球等级1到5，等级1，等级2，等级3，等级4，等级5。正手击球。
这场球是在这个雨。
漂亮，漂亮！
这是这样的比赛，让这排天才失态怒吼。面对新的世界第一，能否上演爆冷？这是 WTT 新加坡大满贯赛下半区的男单半决赛。
漂亮，太强了！
横马的王楚钦来自中国，即将成为新的世界第一。
因为他也是在一种不断的摸索。
控制后的是斜线
之前的拉球。
哎呀！ 抓了！
你觉得你健身的进步太慢了？让我来告诉你一个残酷的事实。
一定要拼尽全力，不为别人，就为自己。
难缠的局面，对新秀流手呢要做好这样的准备。
杀头的铜品。
法拉在比赛。
注意看比赛。 注意看，比赛一开始，中国选手杨静茹就犹如脱缰的野马般冲了出去，这一操作更是惊呆了现场观众和其他选手。随着杨静茹的速度越来越快，大家渐渐悟出来了，原来是兔子战术又重出江湖。但是这个举动并没有引起集团里韩国选手的重视，因为在他看来，韩国男队都没能成功的战术，中国队的女选手就更加不可能，并且消耗大量的体。
家人们，我真的会被张本智和笑死。我发现张本打球有以下几个特征，总结就4点。
你要把他，
谁能想到？
继续放，转正手，哇，形成对拉，好的。以为是擦边啊。不过没关系，这个球还是很顽强啊。
林高远的赛场奇遇记。
谁能想到，曾经把咪咕干崩的4个人，居然炸出了6对组合？
你要把他捧的所谓的真的是。
I want you, I ai dám nói tất cả những
gặp nước mắt của anh thật sâu vào đáy lòng cho anh một lý do một ngày tháng mãi trôi theo dung
đứng lên không cần động anh bảo
cho em một ly em từng mong ngóng.
Andre got the bag. Anh em mình bình dân
She played with a bit more speed.
Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack, crushing a hostile hive. is under attack. We sense spaceborne life. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. We sense spaceborne life. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Our void hive is under attack. Our space hive is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. We flee the hostile swarm. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack, crushing a hostile hive. Enemy nest taken. Our hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged, crushing a hostile hive. Our hive is under attack. Our space hive is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Technology conceived. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our space hive is lost. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack.
Council agenda ready.
Our hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our mining hive is lost. Our void hive is under attack. We flee the hostile swarm. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Technology conceived. Our hive is under attack. We have cleared a blocker. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Enemy nest taken. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. 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 Crushing a hostile hive. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. 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 Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Hostile swarm engaged. Crushing a hostile hive. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Our hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Planetary infestation begun. Our void hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Hostile swarm engaged. Planetary infestation begun. Our space hive is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Our swarm is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Our hive is under attack. Our swarm is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Our space hive is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Our void hive is under attack. Our space hive is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Enemy nest taken. Our void hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Our swarm is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Enemy nest taken. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our swarm is lost. Our hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Planetary infestation begun. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Our space hive is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Crushing a hostile hive. Planetary infestation begun. Hostile swarm engaged. Our hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our special project is complete. Our void hive is under attack. Planetary infestation begun. Crushing a hostile hive. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Enemy nest taken. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Our swarm is lost. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Our space hive is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Our hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Enemy nest taken. Our space hive is lost. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Our swarm is lost. Our swarm is lost. swarm is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Our swarm is lost. Planetary infestation begun. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Enemy nest taken. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Planetary infestation begun. Crushing a hostile hive. Our swarm is lost. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Crushing a hostile hive. Our hive is under attack. Our void hive is under attack. Crushing a hostile hive. Planetary infestation begun. Planetary infestation begun. Technology conceived. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Our hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Our void hive is under attack. Hostile swarm engaged. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. Our swarm is lost. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. Crushing a hostile hive. Hostile swarm engaged. We sense spaceborne life.